So thank you all very much for coming along this afternoon after what I'm sure has been a busy day. So I am Anne Robertson. I'm a lead advisor for languages in the South East. So I work across 3 different local authorities, so East Lothian, Mid Lothian and Scottish Borders. And I'm also on the board of trustees for SEAT, so for Scottish European Educational Trust. So we're really delighted to host this session this afternoon. This is the second of these sessions that we've run, and I think it's just really helpful to get an overview of how the Our World project works, and there'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions about how you can take this forward in your own schools. I know there's some people here who've already led the project, so you might be able to chip in with your own expertise and experiences as well. And so I'm going to hand over now to Alex Conway. Alex is the guru for the Our World project, so he's the project coordinator for SEAT. So he's going to lead this session, and I'll just offer some other thoughts at the end of Alex's presentation on things for you to consider when you go back and look at this for your own planning back in school. Okay, so I'll pass over to Alex now. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks very much. And I'm just going to share my my screen with you, and I'll just run through a brief sort of presentation about the project, and then there'll be plenty of time for questions and that kind of thing at the end if they are so required. So I'm just going to share my screen with you just now, and we will get started. Okay. So that's my fault. Sorry. Okay. So my name's Alex, as Anne has just mentioned, and first of all, I'd like to welcome you to this career-long professional learning event run by the Scottish European Educational Trust, or SEAT, and this will provide you with a bit more information about the Our World project, and a bit more of an overview of what we do as a charity as well. So I'm the project coordinator of Our World. I'll be your kind of point of contact throughout the project if you wish to take it forward. And I really appreciate you giving up a bit of your time this afternoon to hear a bit more about Our World. So today we'll run through what SEAT actually is, a bit about the projects which we run, focusing specifically on the Our World project and the benefits that it can bring to its participants. Of course, I shouldn't be saying any of these things without any evidence to back me up. So we'll hear some testimonials from past participants. I'll then run through key dates for this year's project, tell you a bit about what is required from schools to take part, before outlining how you can get involved and you can get your pupils and your school involved. My colleague Anne, who you just heard from, will then talk a little bit about Our World within the curriculum, and then we'll open the floor to any questions that you may have. So if you have any questions at any point during the presentation, please, if you're able, put them into the chat box, although, as we said a moment ago, there may have been a slight setting issue. So if you don't have a chat box function, potentially you could just unmute yourself at the end and ask me a question, or you could email it and I'll follow it up with you later on. Okay, then. So what actually is SEAT? Well, this short video clip should give you a good idea of who we are and what we do.
The Scottish European Educational Trust, or SEAT, is a non-political charity committed to promoting international education, skills development and language learning amongst young people in Scotland. We're a small team, but SEAT is proud to work with around 3,000 primary and secondary school pupils across Scotland each year to build the skills, knowledge and confidence to look outward and to engage with other cultures. Euroquiz is an annual project open to all primary 6 pupils across Scotland, which sees teams of 4 working together to broaden their knowledge of Europe and the wider world. Subjects covered include languages, history, geography, culture and European affairs. Feats take place in local authorities, with the winning teams from all areas progressing to the national Euroquiz final, held in the debating chamber of the Scottish Parliament. Our World is a creative filmmaking project for S3 to S6 pupils. Teams of 4 are asked to create ideas for a film based on set themes relating to global citizenship and including at least one language other than English. Pupils send their ideas to us in storyboard form, and selected teams attend an all-day filmmaking workshop where they bring their ideas to life with the help of a professional filmmaker. Participants are then invited to attend a premiere and awards ceremony to showcase their work and celebrate their achievements. SEAT projects are open to all pupils across Scotland, it's free to take part, and we've developed ways to offer our projects in an online format. Please get in touch if you'd like to learn more, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so as that brief film showed there, we're an educational charity which run projects focusing specifically on language learning and global citizenship. So our secondary school project, Our World, the focus of this talk is tailored specifically to ensure that young people receive a leg up in terms of meeting the principal educational aims that are laid out in the Curriculum for Excellence, in particular those related to global citizenship and learning for sustainability. Now, just one thing to point out in that video, it did mention that Our World was specifically for S3 to S6 pupils, but obviously this video was made about 2 years ago now, and we have since, as of last year, we ran for the first time the project with S1 to 2 pupils as well, and it was very successful. We're really happy and delighted to be able to offer that opportunity for S1 to 2 pupils again this year. So just to clarify that there. So let's talk a bit more about Our World specifically then. So pupils in, as we said, it's a language learning and filmmaking project. Pupils in S1 to S6, in groups of up to 4 pupils, come up with a storyboard for a short film, which they then submit to us to be reviewed by our team. So this year we are asking that films are based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and that all films, as always, include the use of at least one language other than English in them. So this is the third time that we've used the UN Sustainable Development Goals as a theme, and it's worked really, really well in the last few years, providing a launching pad for young people's interest, research, and creativity as well. SEAT staff offer free online school visits to your school to support pupils, explain more about the project, a little bit like what we're doing now, and get the ball rolling with film ideas as well as share some of our learning and teaching resources with you. So after much deliberation, those storyboards which we feel respond best to the theme are then invited to an all-day filmmaking workshop where our young people get the chance to turn their film ideas into the real thing. And there's a professional filmmaker at the workshop there to provide them with creative support and practical tuition as well. So we ensure that everyone who wants to can access the workshop by offering 4 across Scotland in various locations. These are normally Edinburgh, Glasgow and Aberdeen, but it can be slightly flexible just depending on what suits everyone best. We also offer a travel budget for schools or for pupils who may need it to ensure that location doesn't act as an obstacle to accessing our project. The final part of the project is a premiere and awards ceremony where pupils get the chance to showcase their films to their friends and family, present their ideas, discuss their Our World journey, and receive recognition of their achievements throughout the process. This is always a fantastic event, and it allows our young people to develop their public speaking as well as supporting their friends in the process. So last year we worked with S1 to 2 pupils as well as S3 to 6 pupils, as I mentioned a moment ago. So we're really happy we can offer that opportunity again. Younger pupils in S1 and 2 will have their own dedicated workshop with our professional filmmaker, with a workshop timetable that's been catered specifically to that age group, along with their own premiere and awards ceremony event as well. If you have any pupils with additional support needs that want to take part in the project, please can you contact me directly so that SEAT can ensure that these pupils are supported and that the project remains accessible to everyone. So here's a film that we put together in 2019-20, just before the pandemic sort of made us work online and remotely for a couple of years. It will hopefully give you a bit more of a taste of how Our World unfolds.
I've really enjoyed the whole teamwork thing and about how we learned how to make films in different ways using different techniques, and it was just really fun in general.
We've learned a lot about languages in the working industry and how you can transfer different skills.
In our film we used French, Spanish and Polish. We feel a lot more confident with them. As the day went on we got better with them, just like more practice doing it.
The part I've most enjoyed would be just the experience of putting a movie together in a different environment.
Today's been really good. The building is very well equipped for creativity and then production, and it's great to be surrounded by people who know what they're doing and can give you really good tips on how to make a good film. Yeah, it's just been a great opportunity to explore the creative side of languages.
I think I enjoyed kind of having a storyboard and then turning it into the movie.
I love the fact that we were all just working together to make this film, and that all of you were super supportive, and it was really fun.
I think the skills that we've acquired from this is using like the rule of thirds in the camera and learning how to like put the movie together. I definitely think we were more confident. When we were coming today we were all a bit kind of nervous about being in front of the camera, but I think it's helped us to like grow and develop.
Just learned a lot of stuff about reasons to learn new languages and like reasons why it's fun to learn languages, so that's made us more interested and appreciate different languages.
From the workshop so far, we've learned to work together as a team. Also being able to reflect on the footage that we've done and being resourceful.
I've probably enjoyed getting to be with different people and like the editing part, and I've learned some new things about like filming that I didn't really think about before, and that I'll probably look out for in movies.
I really liked how this kind of brought our friendship to a greater level. We spent time with each other to work together and make this brilliant project.
%. We've really enjoyed it.
It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I thought the food was really good as well. We got free lunch. that was really nice.
That was really good.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a bit more of a kind of overview of what the pupils thought of the project. That was, as I said, that was back in 2019-20 project year, just before the pandemic. We managed to run the full project in all its glory last year, which was yeah, it was just, I'm sure everyone will agree, just so nice to get back to some level of normality. So why would pupils be interested in taking part in Our World? Well, hopefully the 7 C's of Our World will clarify why it's such a great option for young people. Creativity, citizenship, communication, confidence, core skills, context, and CVs. Okay. So firstly, confidence. So Our World is great at building young people's confidence as it allows them to express themselves creatively, encourages them to use their languages and push themselves, and it also respects all cultures, languages and ideas equally. Pupils are also given the opportunity to develop vocational skills, which they may not get the chance to elsewhere in the curriculum, such as filmmaking and editing, with knowledgeable and experienced filmmaking professionals alongside them to support facilitate and provide feedback. Meanwhile, pupils also get to experience a real-life context in which to actually use their languages and can meet others who share similar interests as well. As well as developing vocational filmmaking skills, Our World can help develop core skills amongst young people as well. So young people's communication, both in English as they collaborate with one another and in their target languages as they're using them regularly throughout the project, are both developed. Participants are often required to problem solve and be resourceful as they navigate through the filmmaking process, and also develop their IT skills as they shoot, edit and present their films. So the theme of the UN Sustainable Development Goals are there to provide stimuli for pupil creativity, but we feel that they're broad enough as a theme to really encourage and promote the study and research of modern culture and other topical issues, in turn helping to develop more outward-looking, engaged citizens. So this combination of skills, knowledge and language development combine to provide a great addition to young people's CVs and hopefully an enjoyable and meaningful learning experience for them as well. So beyond the 7 C's of Our World, the project provides you as the teacher with an opportunity to mobilise your young people to engage with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and act to turn it around. So this global week to act for SDGs was a couple of weeks ago now, but the pertinence of the message remains. With COP26 taking place in Glasgow last year and several other events and movements which have taken the public consciousness in recent months and years, the Sustainable Development Goals are certainly broad and provocative stimuli for young people to get their teeth into, and feedback has shown us that Our World provides you with a real opportunity to capitalise on this sort of appetite and interest, and encourage your young people to think more about the way that their local actions can affect the global picture and show what the SDGs really mean to them as well. So to prove what we're saying, there's a couple of stats from last year's project. So more of last year's stats and also those from previous years are available in our impact reports, which are published on our website. So 80% of teachers taking part in Our World last year said that it made their pupils more confident in using their languages and that the project improved pupils' language speaking skills. Even better than that, 100% of teachers that took part last year said that Our World improves pupil communication and presentation skills, as well as making their pupils either far more or more informed about their chosen SDG as well. So those, quite solid statistics there, proving that Our World is a really useful tool for our young people. So I've pulled out a couple of examples as well from the GTCS standards for registration, which discuss learning for sustainability and the importance of extracurricular learning for effective teaching practice. In terms of professional knowledge and understanding, it's our responsibility as teachers to ensure that interdisciplinary learning is facilitated, in particular in relation to sustainability. So Our World offers, and in fact actively encourages, a sort of interdisciplinary approach with a specific focus on sustainability. For example, in terms of IDL, in the past, we have had a lot of collaboration between modern languages, social subjects, drama and English departments as well, where pupils have, for example, researched the Sustainable Development Goals in their modern studies or their geography classes, written their scripts in English or drama class, and then been supported with the second language element by their modern languages teacher. The IDL element is absolutely not essential, and we've had a number of, many really successful entries coming to us from, all coming from one department, but the opportunity for crossover is definitely there. In terms of professional skills and abilities, we also have a responsibility as teachers to try engaging young people in debate and decision making about topical issues, and to vary our teaching practice to challenge assumptions and expand worldviews. So the topical research and discussion part of the project allows young people to become active citizens and participate in the debate. Combined with the language learning element, the project Our World goes a long way to help broaden the minds of pupils, supporting them in providing the tools they need to compete in what is an increasingly globalized and international job market as well. We also need to show our commitment as professionals to improving young people's care for others and the world around them. So the emphasis on collaborative learning, combined with the global citizenship and learning for sustainability themes which underpin the project, promotes more engaged pupils with a high level of care for themselves, others, and the world around them as well. So a couple of quotes from past participants, partners, pupils that have taken part in previous years. So Gillian Campbell-Thow, who's curriculum leader for modern languages in Gaelic in Glasgow City Council, said that the work that you do is simply essential at the moment. And what I've been particularly delighted with is the support received directly to our schools and learners. Very often here in Glasgow, our learners need that extra boost of confidence to engage with events out with the classroom. And what has been the biggest success for us is our young people engaging in meaningful and relevant language work with an intercultural context. This was from a modern languages teacher who's taken part a number of times over the years of Our World. Aurora said, "Our World is a great way for us to address the goals set out in the Curriculum for Excellence and Learning for Sustainability. It gives us, as languages teachers, a route into looking at global citizenship in a truly interdisciplinary and skill-based way. Our pupils thoroughly enjoyed taking part, their confidence in using their languages grew, and they gained new skills. We'll definitely take part again." And finally, a couple of pupils that have taken part in the past. Both these are from last year's project. "It boosted my confidence in speaking other languages and it helped me improve teamwork skills. I like the support from staff, learning about filmmaking and mixing human rights and languages." So some very nice quotes there from previous participants. So I'll give you a quick run through of the kind of key dates for this year's project. So the first one for the diary is for our second CLPL session, which will take place on this team that we're on at the moment on Wednesday, the 26th of October. There was an email that was sent round saying it was going to be on Thursday, the 27th to some people, so my apologies. It will be on the Wednesday, the 26th of October at 4 p.m. And just like this session, it'll be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel. So if that does cause any issues, the slight change in date there, then you can still access it after the event. This session, this CLPL session, will cover predominantly teaching storyboarding and other kind of similar related topics which have been requested by teachers that have signed up so far. There's a section in the sign-up form which I'll make sure that I post a link to on the chat here. And make sure it's emailed around to everyone, that you can request particular things to be covered. That session is supported by Creative Screen Scotland, so they're helping us put together some resources and making sure that that everyone's questions are covered fully. We're also running online school visits this year between sort of the start of next week and the beginning of December. So for the next month and a half, we'll be running online school visits. These are more aimed at pupils, and they provide them with a kind of overview of the project and some support with kind of getting started with their film ideas. Again, you can sign up for those once you've if you decide to sign up for this project. I'll give you more information about getting an online school visit. After that, the next key date for the diary is Friday, the 2nd of December, which is when we would like all the storyboard submissions to be sent to us by alongside a brief audio or video clip which explains your idea, but that's specifically for the S3 to 6 project. But the main date is 2nd of December for storyboard submissions. We'll then review all the storyboards that we receive, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible before welcoming all successful applicants to one of our filmmaking workshops with our professional filmmaker throughout February and March of next year. As mentioned earlier, these usually take place in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Aberdeen each year, although that is relatively flexible. And we offer a travel budget for schools who have to travel far or who otherwise that traveling may be an issue, just to ensure that our project is accessible to everyone. So finally, we run our premiere and awards ceremony in June each year, where people showcase their films, discuss their filmmaking method, and pick up some trophies for all their hard work as well. So if you're interested in taking part in this year's Our World project, and we really hope that you are, then please fill out the registration forms as soon as possible. And I think I'll make sure that a link to the registration form is posted right here and is very accessible. It's also available on the SEAT website, the advert for this session, and on our social media platforms, which I will give you an overview, a link to in just a moment. You can also email me for any more information that you may think I've forgotten. I'll share my contact details on a couple of slides' time. I know that a few people on this conversation have already signed up for this year. I know some people are maybe just wanting to see a little bit more before they make their decision, but the registration form should be easily visible for everyone. Once you've signed up for the project, you'll have the option to sign up for the second CLPL session on storyboarding, as well as sign your school up for an online school visit if you so wish. All our school visit resources will be made available on our website, again, which you'll receive details of in just a second. So after the school visit sessions have been completed and everyone's film ideas have been formed, the next step is to send us the storyboard by the deadline of Friday, the 2nd of December. Then you can sit back and wait and see if your team or teams have been invited to the workshop stage. We really hope that you guys are up for joining us this year. So just very quickly then, this is the SEAT website, www.seat.org.uk. If you just once you're there, if you just hover over the Our World tab, at the top there are links to more information about the project, our own resources, partners' resources, and a place where you can sign up for various project-related things as well. So you just go up to the Our World tab and go from there. If you have any questions or you would like some more information, you can contact me on alex@seat.org.uk, or you can give SEAT a ring on 0131-557-9886. I just mentioned our website, seat.org.uk, and we're also on social media. Our Twitter feed is @seat_Scotland, and our Facebook is Seat Scotland. That's basically it. Thanks very much for listening, and we hope to welcome you to Our World this year. I'll now pass you back to Anne, who's going to talk a little bit about how Our World fits into the curriculum, and then there'll be a wee bit of time for some questions as well.
Thanks so much for that, Alex. It's really helpful just to have that overview of everything that's included in the project, and I hope that's been inspiring for the teachers who are here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about just some considerations for you in terms of planning, curriculum, how you might want to fit this into what you're doing already. And that's really where I'm going to start, is just thinking about what you're already doing in terms of your curriculum, where this might fit in terms of language learning, the kind of language you've been developing with your classes that you're planning on developing over the next few months. And thinking about your NQs, so thinking about languages for life and work, for example, is there an opportunity to link it in there, potentially into your National 4, National 5 assessments, potentially also into your higher and advanced higher courses as well. So thinking about your existing curriculum and how this could link across. And I haven't mentioned it in here, but specifically maybe thinking about year groups as well, where it might be useful to plan this. And I'm sure many of you will be thinking about specific year groups already. But potentially, for example, S3s who are maybe demotivated, who you're looking to kind of hook in at this point for thinking about uptake for next year as well, for languages. So thinking about specific year groups, specific classes perhaps that you would like to focus on and work on with this. And then in line with that, just thinking about what you might like to get out of it for that group. So what's your kind of higher purpose in terms of this for that group? Is it about increasing their motivation? Is it about global citizenship? Is it about widening their interculturality, their intercultural skills? So kind of thinking more broadly about the kind of aims for that group through the project, and if you're looking to take part in this. And as part of that as well, I think you'll have heard one of the students and the videos. I love seeing those videos. I always think it's really fantastic to see the experience that the young people have and the impact that it has on them. But it was interesting to hear one of them talking about Polish as being one of the languages that was included in that. And again, it's really an opportunity to bring in a wide range of languages. So not just the languages that the young people are learning, but also that they already bring to the table. So that could be, for example, their home languages. It might be BSL as well. So a range of languages that you can bring into this, and really getting them to think about their languages as well and what that means in terms of what it is that they're going to produce within their groups. So how can they bring that in as part of the creative experience? And there's some great examples of that actually on the SEAT YouTube channel. So I know Alex had mentioned some of the social media, but I would recommend going and having a look at their YouTube channel, where you'll see some of the examples of the videos that young people have produced in the past. So and some really nice examples there of films where they've basically done the whole thing in a range of different languages. So it's really multilingual. So different examples there of how the young people could take it forward. And then just really thinking about things like learner voice, for example, the impact this has on the young people, how this then informs your planning back in your own departments. Does that tell you anything about your curriculum, so your future planning of your curriculum? Does it help you inform your discussions that you're also having with your senior leaders as well? So for some schools, this might be a kind of crucial point in the kind of dialogue that you have with your senior leaders around about the purpose, the impact, how meaningful the language learning experience can be. So it can really be helpful to be able to show that this has been really powerful, and to take that back to your senior leaders as well. But just thinking about your own planning as well as part of that. And you might want to consider doing a bit of professional inquiry around about that as well. So I know everybody's pretty busy, and that might be a tall order for you at the moment, but if it is something that you're interested in, then just thinking about potentially looking at professional inquiry as part of that. And the last thing I was going to mention is the website that's at the bottom here. So this is Tiles. So this is a toolkit which has been produced by the South East local authorities in partnership with Murray House at the University of Edinburgh. And basically it's a self-evaluation toolkit which focuses on different themes. So for example, as part of that, we have motivation is one of the themes. We have culture as one of the themes in there. So it might be something you want to have just to dip into, have a look at, and see if there's anything there which kind of helps inform your thinking around about the direction you might take with this. Yeah, things like outdoor learning as well potentially might be useful to look at as part of that. So just a few things to think about in terms of your planning. It's probably not rocket science. I'm sure many of these things you'll be thinking about already, but I hope that's helpful just in framing a little bit some of the things you might want to consider. Okay, Alex.
Thanks very much, Alan. I really appreciate your contribution there, and just I'll make sure that everybody gets a link to the YouTube channel as well, so you can see some previous Our World films from the last 7 or 8 years now. So I'll make sure that everyone gets a copy of that. Yeah, well, I'll gladly take any questions if anyone does have any just now, and then I'll let you guys get off because I'm aware of the time. But any questions, if you just want to put them in the chat box. If the chat box isn't there, then in fact, you know what, I'm gonna
to compare the hands up, Alex.
If you don't mind, and
okay,
sorry,
no
we've had a wee
fine.
technical difficulty earlier with the team, so I do apologise for that.
That's fine. So I think Ian has his hand up.
Hi, Ian.
Thanks for that. I'm just going to make sure I've removed my legacy hand. Just a couple of things out, so keep it brief. First off, thanks very much to you guys for mentioning about GTCS standards for registration. I'm the vice convener for the GTCS at the moment, so it's lovely that you're putting these things in. Big up, but you're getting no money from us. And the other one, you might be aware that certainly in Aberdeenshire, we have this agricultural hangover called Tatty Holidays. So unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we're on holiday from the 14th of October to the 31st of October. Is there any chance, if there's sufficient from colleagues in the Shire, that we could get a second bite at that teaching storyboard CLPL?
Of course, yeah. No, I was trying to find a date this side of November. I was trying to get a date in October, just because, you know, I suppose with the deadline on the 2nd of December, I kind of wanted that to be implemented sort of before then. So I realised that it's
like we're very aware that we're awkward.
So the plan will be that initial session on the 25th will be recorded. And it will be posted on our YouTube channel and our website as well.
Brilliant.
But I'm also happy if there's any sort of specific questions that can't be covered, that you want covered, you can maybe send it to me in advance, or we can have a one-to-one sort of Teams conversation as well to cover anything that maybe is missed in the session. I'll do my best to cover what's requested.
That's grand. Thanks to both of you.
No problem.
Thanks, Ian. So we've got, I'm sorry, I don't know your first name, but we've got Mr. Morrison. Has his hand up?
Hi there. I'm not going to put camera on because I've got 4 kids at home here and stuff. So if you hear any noise in the background, I'm just hiding first up. But this is the first year I'm going to be doing it. I'm really interested from any others before. How do they launch it? And do they do it to whole year groups, or is it particular classes, or is it just to advertise it and whoever's interested comes along? So I'd just like to see how we go about it, basically. Really, thanks.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I think it's sort of up to you. We've had different approaches from many of the different schools that we've worked with. We have some schools that, for example, Balfron High School, who we've worked with every year that I've been involved with the project anyway. They run it as a sort of kind of lunchtime club. Or I've also heard schools doing it as an after-school club, where, you know, you can advertise it. I can help you with some advertising, send some promotional materials over to you, so that it can be run that way. Or you're welcome to run it as a full year group. Last year we again on Teams we ran a kind of information session, not dissimilar to this, but obviously aimed at pupils rather than teachers. And we ran that online, and that was in front of a whole year group. I think we had like 4 different classrooms, all hooked up to the Teams, and that worked well as well. So it's sort of up to you, whatever kind of works best for you. I can also have we can also talk sort of one-to-one about ways you can launch it in your school. But I'm happy to send promotional materials over to you as well if that's the way you'd like to run it.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks very much.
Okay, no problem. And also with the IDL element of it as well, as I said, I think I know. In fact, I think Catherine's on.
People do it was the best way to engage them together to go forward. Actually.
Oh, how to engage the pupils. Yeah, okay. So again, normally the easiest way to do that is once you've kind of signed up is to organize a school visit, and I can give a kind of presentation to the full year group or the pupils that you're targeting for the project, and they can ask me any questions that they have, and I can promote it that way. That's normally the most effective way. And I know that Catherine worked with us last year. She's on this call, I think. I know that there was some. I know that they sort of did some crossover between languages departments and geography as well. So, in fact, Catherine, would you be able to shed some light on this, on how it worked up in Dornoch last year?
Hiya, yeah. Well, we're a bit different because we're such a small school. So my faculty is actually social subjects and modern languages, and computing. So we just linked it. We took it with our 3rd years, and all pupils in 3rd years participated, and we split them into groups based on what modern language they were doing. And then they just took part, and they worked in their teams through several classes over we did it over a 2-week period, just intense. So every time they came to modern languages or social subjects or computing, they were working on it, and it was just a 2-week like blitz at it, and then we sent everything off. But and then we had a group of boys senior boys who volunteered to take part. We just I'd been talking about the project with them and they wanted to get involved.
Excellent. Yeah, I was looking at global studies and we're looking to have media studies in our school as well. So I'm opening those two departments to try and do something that way. And it's just the actual sort of materials to launch, and you go through the sort of the year 17 sustainable sort of statements first. You do a introductory lesson. So I was looking for sort of starters like that, to tell you the truth, Alex, as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was going to say the way we did it was I spent like 2 lessons in the social subjects section, you know, introducing the sustainable development goals, talking about like getting them to understand why each of them was important and how they interlinked. And then I got them to choose, you know, which sustainable development goal as a group they felt most passionate about. And then that was the theme that they picked for their storyboard after that. And they wrote them all in English, and then we translated them.
So how about, what I'll just do then is I can maybe just message, or you can share your email or something on this group, and we can maybe just communicate back and forth. Would that be okay? And share some ideas that way?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and also I can send some as I say, promotional materials, posters and things like that, which you can put up around your department, around your school, if that's what you'd like. And then from there, I can also, the CLPL session, which is happening on the 26th, will also be providing some more sort of practical advice on implementing our world. So the session today is a bit more of an overview and an introduction. So we'll be talking a little bit more about working on the SDGs and particularly about sort of storyboarding as well. But again, if there's anything in particular you'd like me to cover, so you've mentioned work teaching SDGs, I can I'll include some of that in the CLPL as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Cheers.
No problem at all.
Do we have any other questions? Anybody want to share their experiences of running this in school?
Just in terms of, I suppose, in terms of, we mentioned that all languages are acceptable and in fact welcomed. Yeah, that's been, I think, a real sort of benefit and pro of the project in recent years. It's an ideal kind of launching pad for languages for usage of languages that they learn in the classroom. But it's also, you know, an opportunity to celebrate other languages that they may speak at home, or that they've got an interest in and they're learning elsewhere. As a charity, we collaborate with a rich network of language professionals who can help provide a kind of extra layer of support to young people in terms of the use of languages that maybe I don't speak, for example. So, you know, we've got a strong network of language professionals around us helping with that as well.
I think the Sustainable Development Goals are a really good context for that as well, because I'm just thinking of a quote that's on the British Academy website from a report they put out recently, and all about interculturality and working across languages to be able to find solutions to global challenges. So, you know, it's a really good context for looking at that as well, and exploring working across different languages and different cultures.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've just had one question here. It says, what equipment do the pupils use in their filmmaking workshops? Well, you may have seen in the sort of promotional film that we've showed in that there was it's iPads, and the reason we use iPads is because they're so sort of portable, they're kind of easy to use, and you know you can get a lot done in quite a short space of time on an iPad. They're also incredibly high spec in terms of using iMovie and editing short films as well. And we've just recently got funding for brand new iPads this year. So the 2022-23 project will be the first usage of new equipment as well, which was a real coup for us this year. So yeah, it'll be good to have some new fresh equipment for the pupils this project year. Are there any other questions, or will I let you guys get off? There's as I said, the session on the 26th will provide a little bit more practical advice on implementing our world in the classroom and how to promote it to pupils, and some exercises that you can do with pupils. But it's we aim specifically for the project to be as flexible as possible. So you can take bits and pieces that suit you. You can use all of our resources. You can use your own things. It's kind of up to you, but that's what the next CLPL session will talk about as well. So there'll be plenty of opportunities. If any other questions do come up that you'd like a specific answer to, please again just email me on alex@seat.org.uk, and also in the chat box here there's the sign up form for the project as well, which should only take you 2 minutes to fill in if you are interested in taking it forward, and I'll be in direct contact with you if you do sign up. But I think if there's no further questions, I think I'll let you guys get off. But thank you very much for joining me on this afternoon and giving up a bit of your time after what's surely been a busy day for everyone. So thank you very much for